The People's Republic of China has transformed into a formidable global superpower, projecting deep influence across four critical pillars: a highly centralized political apparatus, an export-reliant but technologically advancing economy, a rapidly modernizing military, and an ancient yet continuously evolving cultural heritage that resonates throughout the 21st century. The political architecture, centralization, and global ambitions at the core of China's political influence is the absolute centrality of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, and its leadership. Under General Secretary Xi Jinping, the Chinese political system has undergone a significant consolidation of power, characterized by the elimination of presidential term limits and the strict enforcement of party discipline. This centralization allows Beijing to craft and execute long-term strategic visions without the short-term political gridlock often seen in democratic nations. The guiding philosophy of the Chinese state emphasizes the indivisibility of national security and economic development. This has led to the creation of the dual circulation economic strategy, designed to make China less dependent on foreign markets while retaining its position as a central node in global trade. Politically, China views the existing Western-led international order with skepticism, arguing that global governance should better reflect the realities of a multipolar world. To achieve this, Beijing has championed alternative multilateral frameworks. By leveraging forums such as the BRICS Coalition, which includes the expanded Greater BRICS Cooperation and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, China has actively built diplomatic and economic alliances that function outside the traditional Western paradigm. Furthermore, China's political power is deeply tied to its statecraft, particularly the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, and its associated global security and development initiatives. Through massive infrastructure investments and diplomatic engagement, China has expanded its political influence across the global South, including Africa, Latin America, and the Pacific Islands. In these regions, Beijing offers an authoritarian model of governance and state control as a viable and often more efficient alternative to Western democratic systems. This approach not only secures vital resources for China's economy, but also wins diplomatic allies that support Beijing's positions in international bodies like the United Nations. Internally, the political regime maintains social stability through a vast and sophisticated state surveillance apparatus. By integrating technologies such as facial recognition, artificial intelligence, and big data, the state is able to closely monitor its populace. Interestingly, China has also begun to export aspects of its state security and surveillance models abroad, embedding police advisors and providing digital infrastructure to partner nations. This allows Beijing to portray its authoritarian system as a success in public safety and modernization, while simultaneously expanding its geopolitical footprint. The economic engine, transition, and technological autonomy. China's economic rise over the past 4 decades is one of the most significant geopolitical events of the modern era. Following the open-door market reforms initiated in the late 1970s, China transformed from an impoverished, agricultural society into the world's second-largest economy by nominal GDP and the largest by purchasing power parity, PPP. For decades, this growth was fueled by massive state-led investments in infrastructure, a seemingly endless supply of cheap manufacturing labor, and aggressive export strategies. However, as of 2026, the Chinese economy is navigating a critical and challenging structural transition. The era of hypergrowth driven by real estate development and basic manufacturing has come to an end, giving way to efforts geared toward high-quality development. Beijing faces significant domestic headwinds, including an aging population, high levels of local government debt, and structural overcapacity in traditional industries. In response, policymakers are prioritizing economic security and stability over rapid, unchecked expansion, targeting annual GDP growth models in the range of 4.5% to 5%. To sustain its economic power, China is focusing heavily on advanced manufacturing and technological self-reliance. Under its long-term planning, Beijing is pouring vast state subsidies into strategic sectors such as electric vehicles, EVs, robotics, semiconductors, green energy, and biotechnology. This push has propelled Chinese companies to the forefront of global industries. For instance, Chinese automakers and battery manufacturers are increasingly dominating global markets, putting pressure on traditional automotive powerhouses in Europe and the United States. Another major driver of China's modern economic power is its rapid advancement in artificial intelligence and the digital economy. While United States firms still lead in raw capabilities for closed-source frontier models, Chinese technology companies excel in the development and global adoption of open-weight AI models. By offering competitive pricing, speed, and practical performance, Chinese AI platforms have achieved massive adoption among developers worldwide. This technological leap ensures that China is not merely a factory for the world, but an innovator and standard setter in the industries that will define the future. Furthermore, China's sheer economic scale grants it immense geopolitical leverage, which it actively uses to counter coercion from other states. Through its control over critical global supply chains, rare earth minerals, and pharmaceutical inputs, Beijing possesses the power to inflict economic pain on nations that challenge its core interests. This economic statecraft makes it highly difficult for Western powers to fully decouple from China without incurring substantial domestic economic costs, highlighting the deep interdependence of the modern global economy. The military modernization, the PLA's global reach complementing its economic might. China's military power has expanded at an unprecedented pace, shifting the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific and challenging long-standing American military primacy in the region. The People's Liberation Army, PLA, is undergoing a comprehensive, state-funded modernization program aimed at transforming it into a world-class military capable of fighting and winning conflicts against advanced adversaries. China's defense spending has seen decades of steady increases, with the official defense budget reaching roughly $277 billion US. While this official figure reflects a modest slowdown in the rate of increase due to domestic economic pressures, the actual expenditures are estimated by international institutes to be significantly higher. This continuous influx of funding has enabled China to invest heavily in cutting-edge military equipment, research, and development. At sea, China has rapidly built the world's largest navy by number of hulls, surpassing the United States in fleet size. This naval expansion is supported by an unmatched shipbuilding capacity, allowing Beijing to project power far beyond its immediate coastal waters. The development of aircraft carriers, advanced nuclear-powered submarines, and stealth destroyers underscores China's ambition to establish maritime dominance in the South China Sea and effectively contest the Western Pacific. In the air and on land, the PLA has modernized its arsenal with fifth-generation stealth fighters, such as the J-20, advanced air defense systems, and a vast array of hypersonic missiles. These capabilities are specifically designed to execute an anti-access/area denial A2/AD strategy, which aims to deter foreign military intervention in regional conflicts, particularly concerning Taiwan. Additionally, China's nuclear stockpile is growing at a rate faster than that of any other nation, signaling a shift toward a more robust and expansive nuclear deterrent. Beyond conventional and nuclear capabilities, China has placed a major emphasis on the integration of emerging technologies into its military doctrine. This includes heavy investments in space, cyber warfare, electronic warfare, and unmanned systems. The PLA is actively deploying innovative combat tactics, such as swarming drones and AI-driven command systems, to gain an asymmetric advantage. Coupled with deepening military cooperation with Russia, China's rapidly evolving defense capabilities present a formidable and enduring challenge to the global security architecture. The cultural influence, tradition, soft power, and modern appeal, while political, economic, and military powers are tangible and easily quantifiable, China's cultural power represents a vast reservoir of soft power that has been cultivated for millennia and aggressively modernized in the 21st century. As one of the world's oldest continuous civilizations, China's historical footprint is undeniable. The country draws immense cultural legitimacy from its rich history, encompassing dynastic empires, profound philosophical traditions like Confucianism and Taoism, and iconic architectural achievements such as the Great Wall and the Forbidden City. In the modern era, Beijing has channeled significant state resources into expanding its global cultural footprint. This strategy of soft power projection is designed to shape global perceptions, counter negative narratives about the authoritarian political system, and foster a more sympathetic view of China's rise. State media networks have been expanded globally, international broadcasting has been scaled up, and a worldwide network of Confucius Institutes has been utilized to promote Chinese language and culture. However, China's cultural power extends well beyond state-sponsored initiatives. A critical driver of contemporary Chinese cultural influence is its massive, tech-savvy consumer market and its thriving entertainment industry. Chinese cinema, television dramas, and pop music, collectively riding the wave of C-pop, have built substantial audiences not only within the Chinese diaspora, but across Southeast Asia and the broader globe. Furthermore, the rise of Chinese social media platforms and short video applications has transformed how global culture is consumed and shared, making China a dominant force in digital cultural trends. In the realm of global consumerism, Chinese brands are increasingly defining lifestyle trends, from fashion and cosmetics to electric vehicles and consumer electronics. Chinese companies are setting global standards for innovation and design. This commercial success is paired with a highly selective and demanding consumer base within China, whose spending habits increasingly dictate global market trends and corporate strategies. Furthermore, China's cultural power is intrinsically linked to its technological prowess. As the world leader in open-source AI and digital technologies, China's digital culture, characterized by cashless societies, advanced e-commerce, and sophisticated digital entertainment ecosystems, serves as a model for both developing and developed nations. This integration of ancient heritage with cutting-edge modernity creates a unique cultural gravity, allowing China to project an image of a dynamic, forward-looking civilization that is redefining what it means to be a global cultural leader. Conclusion: the synthesis of comprehensive national power. When analyzing China's comprehensive national power, the four pillars of politics, economics, the military, and culture cannot be viewed in isolation. They're deeply interconnected elements of a broader grand strategy. The centralization of political power provides the stability and strategic focus necessary to execute long-term economic and military goals. In turn, the rapid economic expansion generates the wealth required to fund the modernization of the PLA. The military's growing might protects China's territorial claims and secures the maritime and overland trade routes essential for economic prosperity. Meanwhile, the synthesis of ancient tradition and modern cultural appeal works to legitimize China's rise on the global stage and foster international partnerships. However, China's ascent is not without profound internal and external challenges. Internally, the country must grapple with the economic realities of an aging populace, structural transitions away from traditional growth models, and the ongoing need to maintain social control over a vast and diverse population. Externally, China's assertive foreign policy and rapid military buildup have triggered responses from regional neighbors and Western powers, many of whom are seeking to hedge against Beijing's growing influence by strengthening security ties with the United States. Ultimately, China's power projection represents a fundamental shift in the 21st century global order. Whether this shift leads to a period of peaceful coexistence and multipolar collaboration or results in prolonged geopolitical friction and strategic competition will depend on the policies adopted by both Beijing and other global powers in the coming decades. As China continues to build and leverage its multifaceted power across all domains, its influence will undoubtedly remain a defining characteristic of the international system for the foreseeable future.